Aisha wiped the dust off an old wooden box she had just found in the attic. The air smelled of forgotten memories, and the dim light from the single bulb cast shadows on the walls. Curiosity filled her as she opened the box, her fingers tracing the edges of yellowed envelopes tied together with a faded red ribbon. Her eyes widened as she read the name on them, Zayan. Her heart skipped a beat. Zayan. The boy who had once been her whole world. The boy who had left without saying goodbye 10 years ago. With trembling hands, she untied the ribbon and unfolded the first letter. Dear Aisha, I wanted to tell you something before I left, but I didn't have the courage. Every time I looked at you, my words got lost. Maybe one day you'll read this and understand. Aisha's breath hitched. She quickly opened the next letter. I watch you laugh, and it's my favorite sound. I wonder if you know how much you mean to me. If I could, I would freeze time just to stay beside you a little longer. Tears blurred her vision. Page after page, letter after letter, all filled with words Zayan had never spoken. He had loved her. He had always loved her. The final letter, written in shaky handwriting, said, If destiny ever brings us together again, I will tell you everything myself. Aisha clutched the letter to her chest. What if she had known back then? Would things have been different? A sudden urge rushed through her veins. She had to find him. For days, she searched. She scrolled through social media, called old friends, followed every lead. And then, finally, she found an address. That evening, she stood in front of a quiet house, her heart pounding. Taking a deep breath, she knocked. The door creaked open. Zayan stood there, older, taller, but those same warm eyes stared back at her in shock. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then, his gaze fell to the bundle of letters in her hands. You kept them? He whispered. Aisha nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. I never got to read them until now. A silence stretched between them, heavy with emotions left unspoken for years. Then, with tears glistening in his eyes, Zayan stepped forward. I still love you, Aisha, he said softly. And in that moment, time rewound. The years, the distance, the silence, they all faded away. As rain started to drizzle, they sat by the window, reading the letters together, their fingers brushing, hearts beating as one. Some love stories never end. They just wait for the right moment to be told.